discuss about some facts, reality and a little history behind this chapter, that is gravitation. We will see that what are the works, what are the research works and the contribution of our great scientists and philosophers in bringing this concept into existence. So, the fact was, from the very beginning of humanity, at a very initial stage, there was one subject to which the people was keenly interested and curious. And that subject was why the sun rises every day, return it to the west, and again it come back from east in the next day. Why it does not move and move away? Why it come back every day? Similarly, we see the moon every day in the night. Why it move from one side, go to another side, and again it appears in the next night. So what is the reason behind this movement? Our philosophers, they thought that there must be some force in between them. And that force is possible without making any contact. Because normally whenever we apply a force, whenever we exert force, we make a contact and push it. But the forces in between the planets, between the stars, between the sun and the earth was contactless force. So our scientists, they discovered by that time that it is quite possible, it is possible that a force could be applied without making contact. And that force was the force in between the sun and the earth. This was the assumption, this were the thought of the philosophers. And due to that force between the sun and the sun do not come closer. It is not coming towards the earth and it remained fixed at a certain distance. This was the reason. Actually, the philosophers, they were trying to solve the riddle of the universe, that why there is movement in between the planets, why the stars are moving, why all the planets are moving, what are the forces in between them, what is the distance in between them, what they are at what angles. Okay, so these all were the puzzles, these all were the riddles which the philosophers were trying to solve. And for this, first thing first that comes into our knowledge was that very beginning, near about 2000 years back, there was one scientist called Ptolemy. So this Ptolemy was the very first philosopher who gave the concept of geocentric theory. So geocentric theory was developed by Ptolemy, and according to that, the people assumed that Earth was the main subject in our universe and everything revolves around the Earth. This was the thinking of the people, and Ptolemy also gave the same concept, that geo, which means the Earth, lies at the center and all the planets revolve around the Earth. But we all know that this theory is not right. Anyway, this was the first attempt. The correct theory was given by an Indian philosopher named Aryabhatta. He said that no, Earth is not at the center. Rather, sun lies at the center and everything revolves around the sun. This theory was heliocentric theory. We know that in our solar system, sun lies in the middle, it is at the center. And this theory was accepted by all these philosophers later on. But there was no link between east and west. So this theory remained in our book, that is in India, and we study that. In the western front, that is in Europe, where so many developments were going on, at that time, there was a genius called Copernicus. Copernicus was also a very great philosopher. He carried this heliocentric theory given by Aryabhatta and accepted this theory that yes, sun is at the center, and later on he also made the same theory. He also discovered the same theory. But there was lot of friction in between the people and Copernicus, and finally Copernicus was given death penalty for giving such harsh statement. Because this heliocentric and geocentric, this theory was a complete contradiction. This was just opposite. According to geocentric theory, Earth is the main subject, whereas according to heliocentric theory, Sun was the main subject. His disciple was Galileo. Galileo, he was the first scientist to discover telescope. He was very interested to study about astronomy, and he was studying about the planets. Actually, at the very beginning, he was studying about the Jupiter. That is why his interest on astronomy gave rise to study this theory further. His disciple was Tycho Brahe. Tycho Brahe was also a very great scientist. He was a great astronomer as well, who was keenly interested to study about the position of stars. What is the angle between the two stars and why they are fixed at one position. So he started to publish so much data. He studied about the facts of the star, about the positions of the stars and the planets, and he gave too much data. He supplied too much data, and if nowadays if you wish to study those data, we require a supercomputer. Right from his age of 25, Tycho Brahe work was on, and he developed so much data about the stars. There are millions, billions, uncountable number of stars, and all those data, if you imagine the data regarding the star, his whole room was full of diaries and data collection. And if someone wants to discover those data, it is not possible. It requires a supercomputer. But very sad to say that before Tycho Brahe could conclude something, before he could achieve or reach some conclusion, he was no more. Okay. His disciple was Kepler. Kepler collected all the data. Johannes Kepler took all the data. He studies all the data prepared by Tycho Brahe, and he gave some laws that we will study. Kepler's law. He gave 3 laws, that is law of orbit, law of planetary motion, and law of period. So 3 laws were given by Kepler. So all this work was not basically of Newton. The whole credit goes to Tycho Brahe. He was the only philosopher who gave the complete data. He supplied all the data. Then Johannes Kepler, he just gave some conclusion and made some laws. That is law of orbit, law of planetary motion, and law of period. Newton just compiled all the data and gave the law of gravitation. That is universal law of gravitation was given by Newton. So this was the whole thing about this chapter. Our regular study will start from Kepler's law, that is law of orbit. According to this, Kepler's first law, all the planets revolves around an elliptical orbit. The path along which the planets revolve, it is not circular, rather it is an elliptical path, and the sun remains at its center. Second law was most popularly known as the law of planetary motion, in which he gave the concept of area, that is the distance between the sun and the earth, and the area swept by the planets in moving from one position to another position in a time t is equal to each other. And the third law was law of period, where we got the relation in between the time and the distance. That is, t square is directly proportional to r cube, where t is the time period. Square of the time period is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. Distance between the semi-major axis, that is the radius. So we got an expression, that is t square is directly proportional to r cube. T square is directly proportional to r cube. Or about the Kepler's law we will study in our next video. Thank you.